What follows requires the viewer's special attention. The content presented is strictly for educational and entertainment purposes. Here is the faithful transcript of the testimonies heard during the federal trial of Diddy Combs, reported by Inner City Press. The atmosphere in the courtroom was already electric. Journalists scribbled feverishly, lawyers whispered among themselves, and the audience held their breath in tense anticipation. Then suddenly, the heavy doors at the back opened. Will Smith entered, alone, without entourage, without lawyer, without any announcement. A cold silence immediately fell over the room. Murmurs rose, glances were exchanged, incredulous. Even the judge, though used to twists and turns, seemed unsettled. At the defense table, Diddy, who had been relaxed until then, suddenly straightened up, his features drawn. Will walked to the witness stand, slowly. His step was heavy but determined. He no longer had the lightness of the Fresh Prince, nor the shining charisma of the Hollywood star. His gaze was dark, almost haunted. He adjusted the microphone, took a deep breath, then declared in a clear voice, "I am not here because I was forced to be. I asked to speak." At that very moment, everyone understood. What Will was about to say would shake the courtroom walls and far beyond. He began in a calm tone but loaded with unspoken things. "For years I kept this to myself. I smiled on red carpets. I accepted awards. I won Oscars. I played heroes on screen. But nothing can erase what I saw, what I lived, nor the one responsible." He slightly turned his head toward Diddy without meeting his gaze. A heavy silence settled. Then he began to tell. "It all started," he said with a simple invitation. "A party for Diddy's birthday, passed on by a trusted contact. A celebration night, supposedly. Music, networking, nothing unusual for a celebrity of his caliber. But from the moment he arrived at this remote mansion, perched on the hills, something seemed off. Black cars blocked the entrance. Security guards were posted everywhere. His phone was taken away as soon as he crossed the door, supposedly to protect guests' privacy. But in reality, it was for something else, to ensure nothing got out. Inside, the atmosphere was oppressive. The lights were dimmed, the music low, almost hypnotic. Mirrors covered the walls. A strange feeling, as if every move was being watched. He saw familiar faces, actors, musicians, but all seemed different. Something was wrong. "Everything seemed calculated," he said. Then Diddy approached him. He gave a smile and said, "Now, you're part of the family." But that smile, it was not warmth. It was as if he was claiming me, as if he owned me. Will said he followed him, thinking it was a private discussion, maybe a project, a collaboration. But what he discovered in that room still chills him today. How far it went, into murky waters. His voice trembled slightly. There were people, men, women, some far too young. They were involved in things I can't even describe here. A shiver ran through the room. Will paused, his gaze lost in the void. And Diddy, he was laughing, as if all this was a show, as if it were normal. He inhaled, struggling to keep calm. I didn't know how to leave. I was frozen, and that was the point. Once you are there, you are trapped. He doesn't just let you leave. A few days later, he said, he received an anonymous call. "I hope you enjoyed Fresh Prince," said a voice before hanging up. Then came an envelope, without name, without address. Inside, a USB key. I hesitated to look, but I finally did. On the video, him, sitting on a couch, visibly drugged, laughing at things he had no memory of. In the background, a familiar voice, Diddy's, laughing behind the camera. Will lowered his eyes. That's when I understood. I had not been invited to a party. I had been initiated into something much darker. He then described a cold, relentless system, a control circle. When I started refusing other invitations, the consequences quickly followed. Film projects in discussion mysteriously disappeared. Longtime contacts suddenly stopped responding. Rumors started circulating about my mental health, my private life, my loyalty. All of it was too precise, too targeted to be a coincidence. He recalled a striking example. In 2013, a global campaign with a major luxury brand. The contract was signed. The first shootings done. Then, radio silence. Everything collapsed without explanation. Everything was ready. The photos, the campaign, everything. Then overnight, they dropped me. Without explanation, 2 weeks later, another invitation from Diddy. This time, Will refused, and immediately the rumors started again. It was a psychological war, he said. You feel crazy, paranoid. You tell yourself you're exaggerating. But over time, you begin to see the patterns, the punishments. You understand you're trapped in a box, and there's no way out. Will claims Diddy didn't only manipulate individuals, he controlled an entire system. I saw powerful people, actors, producers, even political figures, all behaved as if they owed him something. He recounts a specific event, a gala in 2016. I saw a senior executive from a streaming platform give him a USB key while whispering in his ear, "Only you have the final version." Will never knew what was on that key, but I understood one thing. Diddy wasn't just networking. He controlled access to projects, careers, secrets. Why speak now after 20 years of silence? Will replies, voice heavy. Because I heard about the audio tapes, the ones played privately in court. Someone he trusted called him. He said, "Will, you're on one of those tapes. They played it yesterday." He described listening in a closed room, without journalists, without jury. I heard my voice. I was laughing, but it wasn't me. I looked, drugged. In the background, voices, cheers, and Diddy's, clear, undeniable. It wasn't just humiliating, said Will, voice breaking. It stole something from me. What was stolen from me that night was something human. I never consented to being filmed, but Diddy had kept everything. Maybe to use it, maybe just to feel powerful. Will paused, eyes misty. That moment, everything around it. I spent sleepless nights revisiting it all. The party, the video, the anonymous calls. It was all part of a system. I was a victim, and I didn't even realize it. Then he added firmly, "What pushed me to speak was the idea that maybe one day my children, my grandchildren, would come across these stories. I couldn't let my silence become my legacy." So, he contacted the prosecution. I told them I'm ready. Ask me anything. I have nothing left to hide. The judge, in a rare gesture, gave him a last word, facing the accused. Will stood up, took a few steps forward, looked Diddy straight in the eyes. "You built an empire on manipulation. You called it success. You called it culture, love, but it was fear, control." His voice did not tremble. "I saw what you did, to those girls, to me, to so many others. You broke people, for fun." He pulled a crumpled photo from his pocket, a picture of himself, taken in 2004. "That was me, before all this." I hadn't seen him in years, until today, here in court. Then he turned to the judge, to the entire room. "This is not just my story, nor only Cassie's. It's that of a system that suffocates the truth, that crushes those who speak out. And if we don't dismantle it, it will continue." Finally, he turned once more to Diddy. "You always said no one parties like you. Well, no one destroys like you either." Will left the room, head held high, forever marked by 20 years of silence and pain. Diddy remained frozen, pale, hands clasped, silent. His hands trembled. For the first time, he had lost control. Outside the courthouse, even the wind seemed heavier, more charged than usual. Not a word was exchanged. But in the looks, the journalists, the publics, even the security agents, truth silently floated. Nothing would ever be the same. Will Smith's testimony was not just a media shock. It was a breach, an open fracture in a building built over years on fear, silence, and bought loyalties. For a long time, rumors whispered, barely audible, in the soft corridors of the industry's luxurious parties. But no one dared name them aloud. Until today. Will's testimony had the effect of an earthquake. Hollywood trembles. Social networks explode. Will Speaks floods timelines. And already other voices begin to rise. Other testimonies. Other names. Rumors speak of new tapes. Revelations to come. One question hangs suspended in the air. Who will be next to break this wall of silence? Because that day, Will did not just speak for himself. He spoke for all those forced to be silent.